Well, I told somebody, I don't know if it's in an interview somewhere, but I said I want my epitaph to read, "She asked good questions." So it's a pretty good epitaph. Not necessarily that I agree with all her answers or her attempts to answer. I mean, usually we don't answer the questions we ask completely or well, but the important thing is, did we ask a good question? Were we curious? Did we really ask a question that forced us to learn more than we already knew?
Catedrática emérita de la Annenberg School for Communication en la Universidad de California, Sandra Ball-Rokeach es una autora fundamental en el análisis de los efectos de los medios de comunicación. En la teoría de la dependencia del sistema mediático, uno de sus principales aportes plantea que la influencia de los medios depende de la estructura social, del rol que el sistema de medios de comunicación tiene en la sociedad que se trate y de la necesidad de información de la audiencia. La influencia mediática, por tanto, no es directa ni universal. Empezó el primer programa de estudios de género en la Washington State University. Ha sido chair en la International Communication Association y editora y miembro del equipo editorial de algunas de las revistas más importantes del campo de la comunicación. Ha sido reconocida con el premio más prestigioso de la disciplina, el Fellow de la International Communication Association. Investigadora multidisciplinar, comprometida con la justicia social y los medios éticos para las minorías, es un referente ineludible en la investigación de la comunicación mediática del último medio siglo.
How was to go from assistant to associate or from associate to full professor? How was it like being a female researcher promoting, right, within academia?
Well, of course, you know, given my age, I'm 78. I had absolutely no female role models when I was in graduate school, and whenever I was on a faculty, I might be the only woman, or I might be one of two or three. And I had a really tough time in graduate school trying to convince anyone to take me seriously. And there had never been a woman on faculty, ever, at University of Washington when I was in grad school. Of course, now there are. But as soon as it became known that I was going to stand with other women and stand for gender equality, and actually was a member of the Senate at Washington State and stood up and said that sexist language had to go out and this sort of thing, I got quite a reaction. People said, "Why are you doing that? You don't have to. You're very productive. You're going to get promoted. You're very good. Why do you have to stand with these lesser women?" And I said, "Lesser women?"
You kind of think that in general, female voices have been mute, have been silenced within the field of communication?
Especially female voices that come from a critical or qualitative point of view. Female voices that are highly quantitative and more psychological are more likely to be heard, were more likely to be heard. I hope that's changing. In other words, when you combine gender with a qualitative critical approach, you see it goes with the stereotype.
You have also mentioned in other interviews the fact that you didn't have female mentors, right? Like you didn't have women that were mentors. Do you think that situation has influenced your career, or has it?
So I think it affected my career, to respond to your question, profoundly. I put mentorship very, very high on my priority list, that I wanted more than anything to be an outstanding mentor to everyone, not just females. Mentorship became a very, very critical part of my identity. To what extent was I a very good mentor?
Do you feel as a PhD student or later as an assistant associate professor, did you feel scrutinized?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I was told in so many different ways, you're never going to succeed. You will never get a position. If you do, it'll be at a minor league place, which it was. And you'll have to outperform your male colleagues. And I wasn't taken seriously by a lot of males in the profession for two reasons in the communication field. Two reasons. One, I was an outsider because I was a sociologist. Two, I was a woman. And that field was dominated at that time by Midwestern white males who came from a psychological point of view, not a sociological point of view.
Did you ever feel about giving up? Did you ever thought like? Did you ever think like?
No. I had my self-esteem. I said you would be absolutely crazy not to hire me. That was my attitude. I never, ever bought into the scenarios that were being put forth to me. I never bought into them. I was an independent person, and I said, I can do this, I can make a mark, and I'm going to, and I'll find a way.
Some of the interviews that I have already conducted have talked about the sexual harassment in academia. Mm-hmm. Do you think that has been a problem, or like, did you see sexual harassment in your surroundings?
Oh, I not only saw it, I experienced it. And I'm sure most of the women you've talked to experienced it. Yes, definitely. Professors propositioned me at professional meetings. Professors tried to touch me in ways that were totally inappropriate. Professors told me that I would never make it, that I was too pretty, and that the only good thing I should be doing is in bed. So, oh no, I experienced a lot of sexual harassment, a lot.
What is, Sandra, the contribution that you feel more proud of?
Well, I already said mentorship. That's my proudest achievement. But in terms of my work, probably the Metamorphosis Project is the main. And also the fact that I moved more and more and more as my career evolved to doing in-community work. So community engaged research became more and more important to me over my career. That's a significant movement. And there are very few places in academia that will reward anyone who does community engaged research. But a colleague of mine and very close friend, Barbara Osborne, she and I taught a seminar for 12 years together called Research, Practice, and Social Change. And the whole point of that seminar was to create a space for graduate students to learn how to truly partner with progressive community organizations, change-oriented, and to co-construct research.
What has been the most rewarding thing in your career when you look back?
My students. I don't care about, how many citations I get and all that sort of stuff. That doesn't really honestly matter to me that much. What matters to me is that the work is being carried on by very, very talented, wonderful. I would never work with someone that wasn't a good person. And so skill and talent wasn't enough. They also had to be a good team member, a good person. And I am so proud of them.